In today's video, we'll walk through the process of installing this in-ground trampoline and we'll do some jumping on it. My name's Pete and let's get to it. Today's video is sponsored by Trampolines.com, and when we decided to build an in-ground trampoline, I spent a lot of time researching different options. After reading reviews and hearing great feedback from other owners, we chose their system for our backyard. In-ground trampolines are safer than a traditional trampoline. They won't blow away, they look sleek, and will create family memories for a lifetime. The first step for the build was to lay out and assemble the galvanized steel frame, which fits together with nuts, bolts, and washers, and they make a detailed assembly video for each specific trampoline model, so I'm not going to go too in depth with the frame, but I wanted to show you the overall process. The frame is assembled with a couple tools they provide, but you can speed up the process, of course, by using a drill or an impact wrench and some socket wrenches. Work your way around the frame, connecting one piece at a time until it forms the shape of your trampoline. We went with the 15-foot by 15-foot square to fit our area. They have you flip the padding upside down and line it up with the frame to determine where the straps go, which will hold the pad tight to it after it's assembled. The strap is wrapped around the frame and lines up with the buckle on the pad. Once that's done, go ahead and move it aside and start laying out the feet for the frame. Assembling the frame can definitely be done with one person, and it would be nice to have a second set of hands, but my wife was putting the kids down for naps. Lift the top of the frame while you insert each leg, and then use a bolt, washer, and a nut to secure it. Next, lay out the lower portion of your frame around the perimeter, and these are going to secure to each of the legs you already put on. The last connector piece wasn't lining up perfectly, so I ended up pulling on the corner of the frame a few times to square up the trampoline frame, and then it lined right up. The impact wrench made quick work of tightening each nut. There are 4 separate pieces, and start with the center of the first piece at the corner. I find that it works best to attach the lower screw first, then the upper screw. I would say it took me about 2 hours to assemble the entire frame. Once assembled, the frame is heavy, so we used moving dollies to roll it around and figure out exactly where it would be installed. You want some space between trees, fences, or other objects in your yard, and we felt this spot would work really well. I used a surveying level to figure out the slope or the grade I was working with, and it turned out to be about 6 to 12 inches difference between the corners, so I'll need to dig the shelf deeper on a couple sides and then do some extra leveling so that the trampoline sits close to even with the earth around it. You can typically rent a mini excavator for about $300 to $500 a day if you're digging the hole yourself, and I unloaded this Bobcat E32 so I'd be ready to get started digging in the morning. I traced around the perimeter of the frame with spray paint to mark the area I'd need to dig, and you'll want to overdig it at least 2 to 4 inches so it can easily be backfilled with dirt later on. Before doing any digging, make sure to have your utilities marked so you can dig safely. Calling 811 before your dig is simple, and all utilities will be marked in just a couple days. My 4-year-old Jack and I moved the frame out of the way so we could bring in a dump trailer and the mini excavator to start digging. I've seen a lot of people dig the shelf the frame sits on with a shovel, which may work well in your area, but we have soil with a lot of clay in it, and after digging just a couple scoops, I decided it would definitely be easier to do everything with the excavator. I've run an excavator a fair amount for various projects around our yard, and this was the biggest and most precise hole I've attempted to dig. I feel like you do get the hang of running an excavator pretty quickly though, so if you are renting, you'll figure it out enough to do this project. I started by taking off the organics, which is the top layer with the grass and the better topsoil, and I'll separate this from the rest of the deeper dirt, which has a ton of clay in it. Like I mentioned, I would say I'm a beginner at excavating, so if you do have any tips or advice for me or anyone planning to do a trampoline in their yard, please let us know in the comments. Digging this hole is going to generate a lot of dirt, which you can have hauled away in a dump truck or a dump trailer. In our case, I'm putting it all in a pile in our yard, and then I'll use it to build mounds around our home eventually for wind and privacy. I continued digging and filling up the dump trailer throughout the afternoon, and the 16-inch bucket on the mini excavator easily digs through the harder soil with the clay in it, and I'd say it was a pretty good size for this project. So I got this Southland dump trailer almost a year ago, and I have to say it's been one of the handiest tools I've ever owned for landscaping projects and remodeling our home. You can just pick up topsoil, gravel, or run a load of debris to the dump anytime you need to, which is super convenient.
What do you think of that?
I started digging the shelf, which is probably the trickiest part of the dig. I overdug that shelf by around 4 to 6 inches or so on each side, so I'd have plenty of room to backfill, and then a little play in case I needed to adjust things if it wasn't all perfect. Now that shelf needs to be about 9 inches deep if you have flat and level ground. I did ours a little deeper, especially on a couple of the sides, to better deal with our slope. Since I couldn't reach the dump trailer with the bucket, I put the smaller buckets of dirt back in the center of the hole, and then I'll quickly scoop it out on the other side when I'm near the trailer. Now, I originally thought I might not be able to tear up the soil around the hole too much, but after a while I realized it was inevitable, at least for my skill level. I checked the depth in the center area, which is supposed to be close to 36 inches. Because the bucket has teeth, it doesn't leave a smooth finish, so I'd periodically rake away the loose dirt so I could check how the shelf looked. I kept scratching at the shelf with the teeth on the bucket to get it as level as I could. They say it takes between 2 to 3 hours to dig the hole if you're more experienced. I would say it took me around 6 to 7 to get everything the way I wanted it though, and since we were also filming the process. I basically did it over an afternoon and then a full morning. The overall depth was still close to 36 inches, and the next step was to run out to pick up 2 tons of 3/4 inch washed rock to help with drainage. I found that a lot of people will dig a hole in the center to make a big enough area for a 5-gallon bucket, use some weed barrier as a filter, and then washed rock right next to the bucket. The idea being, if the ground is completely saturated and water would begin to pool, water would essentially filter into the bucket through holes in it, and you could have a sump pump in the bucket to pump out that water. The company said using a weed barrier and gravel on top would be sufficient for where we live, but it's definitely going to depend on your soil conditions and climate as to how you deal with drainage. I'm doing the sump pump option just in case. Honestly, we had about 2.5 inches of rain in 2 days prior to the trampoline going in, and we had 0 puddling as it all just absorbed into the soil. So I'm not too concerned about issues, and if we do, we'll throw in a sump pump and pump it out.
It's been raining all day long. And looks like it's just getting absorbed into the soil pretty well.
Once it dried up, Britt and I put the frame back on the dolly carts and lowered it into the hole. Now this would have been much easier with about 4 people, but you don't always have 4 people, and we were able to make this work. I'm using this little jack to raise up this side so I can dig out underneath to lower it, since we just need to level it out a few inches. I'm digging out some of the dirt from under the feet on one of the sides, and then I filled in under the frame for a few of the low spots. I could have actually dug the shelf a bit deeper on the high side to deal with the slope, so I did use some concrete blocks to level out the frame on the other end to make it work, and I actually liked having the blocks and gravel under the feet, as I feel like it seems like a better foundation than just dirt. To make it so the ground flows more level into the trampoline and to allow room for the added height of sod, I scratched a few inches of soil off around the trampoline. I used a 6-foot level to check things, and that works fine, but the laser level makes quick work of checking corners, and then everything was within about a 1/2 inch, so I called it good. We used the jacks to raise the frame so we could sneak the weed barrier underneath. I picked up a heavy-duty weed barrier landscape fabric from Lowe's that was 100 feet long by 6 feet wide, along with some yard staples to secure it. Rolling out the fabric gives it more of a finished feel, and we used the jacks to raise and lower the frame for each sheet of fabric. And then the 4-inch long yard staples hold the fabric in place. We continued putting in the fabric, using 3 full sheets and stapling each one as we'd go and then overlapping each of them. Then I cut the 4 sheet in half hot dog style and used it to cover the sides. We had the fabric go underneath the feet of the frame and then directly against the retaining wall side of it, so any backfill is blocked from getting into the hole of the trampoline area. Some of the dirt that was taken off at the start while digging was then used to backfill around the trampoline, and then I used a drag harrow to go around it a few times to rake the area smooth before calling it a day. The next morning, some of the 3/4 inch washed rock was added over the weed fabric, which they recommend for people in climates with moderate to heavy rainfall, or for anyone just looking for a cleaner looking trampoline hole. We added about 2 to 3 inches of gravel, which will help water get distributed back into the soil. It was $67 for the 2 tons of washed rock used for this project that I picked up at a local gravel yard. Here's all the soil we dug out from the trampoline. So quite a bit. And then this is the organics. To help build up the corner and prepare for sod, we got 2 tons of topsoil at the same gravel yard, which came to about $44. It's a lot more expensive at a local nursery, so going direct is nice if you can. And once the topsoil was all raked out and things were backfilled, the liner was trimmed along the frame. We didn't want to wait weeks or months for the grass to regrow and for kids to have muddy feet going back and forth to the house and trampoline, so we went with the instant gratification of using sod rolls. We used a trailer to pick it up from a local sod farm, and it was $5 per roll. A roll covers 10 square feet at 2 feet by 5 feet, so it was essentially 50 cents per square foot. And at 46 rolls that we used, it came to $230 for the area we covered. And we were really glad we put in the sod, as it would have been a mess without it. You need to water the heck out of it for the first couple weeks, which we've done since it was installed, and it's looking great. The next step was to add the under trampoline LED lights that I got with the trampoline, because what trampoline would be complete without them? They're basically heavy-duty exterior rated strip lights that attach to the inside of the frame. They plug in and they look awesome. The control unit screws onto the black plastic retaining wall, and then you screw clips about every 18 inches or so around the perimeter to mount the strip. Coming together. Kind of going to be like our under ice LED lights for the hockey rink.
Yeah.
We'll just clip them in. Installing the lights goes quickly, and it's definitely going to add a cool factor that the kids and adults will all love. The strip light was a couple feet short of completing the square, which you don't notice once the mat is on, and it's not a big deal at all, but I would imagine they will update this in future shipments. The next step was to hook all the springs around the frame, and each of the corners uses the 2 shorter springs, and the rest of the trampoline uses the slightly longer springs. The mat was then laid out over the frame, and we started connecting the springs to it. Putting on the springs and mat took us about a half hour, and you can see it tightens up nicely. The last few springs are a little harder to get on, but they do give you a pull tool to help get them on easier. Britt and I unraveled the pad, which covers the frame and spring area. You'll need to remove a couple springs to slide them through a sleeve on the underside of the mat and rehook them, and then use the buckles as well. This will hold it in place, and it's also going to keep it from blowing if it gets windy. Then it was time to try it out. Is that fun, buddy?
Yeah.
Good. It bounces awesome. As far as cost goes for the trampoline itself, there's lots of sizes and options to choose from, but the 15 by 15 foot size we have was close to $4,500 at the time this video was made, and we love the square shape. We've been playing all sorts of fun games on it, like tag, break the egg, playing catch, and then our friends with older kids are learning tricks and wanting to come over all the time. They say it's one of the bounciest trampolines they've ever been on, and that it's really fun. And our littles are already out there for hours at a time, and it's going to create memories for many years to come. Plus, they're outside burning energy and not watching a screen. This project was a lot of work, but 100% worth it for our family. Please give the video a thumbs up if you found it helpful, leave a quick comment to let us know what you think, and subscribe for more project inspiration. For more information on trampoline sizes, options, and pricing, use our link in the description below. Thanks again to trampolines.com for sponsoring this video, and thank you for watching and sticking around until the end, and have fun with your upcoming projects. Cheers!